Welcome to All in Adams, the official podcast of Adams County government, where we're all in for our residents, our employees, and our community. So whether you live here, work here, or you just want to know more about what makes Adams County a great place to be, thanks for tuning in. We're all in, Adams. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of All in Adams. I'm Nikki Kimbleton, the Communications Director for Adams County, also your host. So for the last few weeks, we have been reintroducing you to all 5 of our county commissioners. And today, last but certainly not least, we have Commissioner Steve O'Dorisio with us. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to learn more about you today. So the first question, just tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, my family's been in Colorado for over 100 years on my dad's side. I had one great-grandfather that worked in the steel mills down in Pueblo, and another great-grandfather and his brothers, after they also came from Italy, were loggers up in the mountains.
Yeah, oh, that's great. So over 100 years of history here, what really was your passion with wanting to serve? Because I know a little, let's go back a little bit first. So prior to this, tell us about your career prior to becoming a county commissioner.
So immediately before I was a county commissioner, I was a prosecutor at the 17th Judicial District, and that covers Adams County and Broomfield County.
And at what point was it that you made the decision, I'm going to make this transition, because I mean, obviously you're doing a service as a prosecutor, but really taking that step, wanting to run for office and to actually serve your community?
Well, even before I became a prosecutor, I got the bug for service in student government at Colorado State University. But throughout the 12 years, from 1998 to about 2010, I was working in business, and I was also then a business attorney, so business consulting, business attorney. Then when I got the opportunity to work for Don Quick, who was our district attorney, I jumped on it, and it was outstanding, and it's kind of really what changed my trajectory from the business side over to public service.
So what is it that you love about this job as a county commissioner?
What I love about this job is the diversity of all the challenges that we have. One minute you could be getting yelled at about a pothole in somebody's front yard, right in front of their house. And then the next minute you're talking about multi-million, hundreds of $1 million deals on how to get like a road network put in place in a certain region. And so the variety of the challenges is just fun and phenomenal, and it makes it very interesting.
So working with you the last couple of years, I've been able to see your passion. You really do work very hard for our residents, for our employees as well. What are some of the programs and things that we have here at Adams County that really mean the most to you?
Well, one of the things some of the things that I ran, some of the reasons I ran for office, I would say, are watching. When I came into Adams County, I grew up in Jeffco, fell in love with Robin O'Dorisio. Robin Frank was her name at the time. And I got to spend more time in Adams County. What I loved about Adams County were the people and the opportunity and the potential. And when I got here, I realized that there is so much potential that we have in Adams County that we could do more. And quite often, the spirit of Adams County sometimes was hurting. People didn't know that they could do more. So I looked at it and I'm like, wow, we have so much opportunity potential. Can we work on things that allow people to feel proud of where they live, that their kids could aim higher to go further? And it's those things that make me realize, like, if people can get those opportunities, we can do more, and they can do more.
Absolutely. And now we're one of the fastest growing counties in the state.
Yeah.
Lots of people coming here, lots of people seeing what you see. So with that, let's talk about some of the hidden gems and great places in Adams County. Do you have like a secret place that is like your favorite to go, whether it's for like a walk, whether it's for, to have a beer at one of our amazing locations that we have, whether it's a favorite dinner or meal?
So some of the great things about Adams County are also some of the programs that I'm excited that we've been able to do over the few years, which is just simply going on walks in some of these neighborhoods that didn't have curbs and gutters and sidewalks, being able to go to the parks that people didn't feel comfortable to go to before. Look at Rotella Park. Look at there are numerous parks that have just been enhanced and improved, where people now feel safe to go. They know they could bring their kids, and it's amazing just to walk around and see people having like birthday parties and barbecues at the parks. It's fun to see that. I love going to, so other than the parks, I love going to like Stanley Marketplace. You could see that over in Aurora.
Mhm.
And then you could go up to Bar Lake. And then you could go over to the National Wildlife Refuge at the old Arsenal. If you want to see, you want to be in an urban community, walk along Federal down by Regis University. If you want to go suburban, you got a bunch of places you can go. If you want to go to a mall type environment, go up to Orchard.
Yep.
And so I love the variety and the diversity of places and the people. But if you want to go out east, like we're 72 miles wide, like you can drive and you can see some amazing things out east.
So, moving here from Florida a couple of years ago, that was one of the things that really, like, that I was driving through Adams County, and I'm still in Adams County, and I'm like, how this is, incredible. I mean, it's very large by land
Yeah.
mass, but it's also incredibly diverse. One of the things that I love is when you're talking about all these locations, they're all really close, and I can also get to the airport in like 18 minutes, which is, a bonus as well. But yeah, thank you for sharing all that. And on an upcoming episode, when the commissioner was talking about all the different things that you can do at the parks, the birthday parties, all those things, we're going to actually have an episode coming up telling you how you can easily reserve those places, all the great spots that you can take advantage of as we're heading into the spring and summer months. So hearing all that about the great things that we have, what's your hope and vision for our county over the next 2, 5, 10 years?
I would like people to really take pride. And when somebody says, "Where are you from?" and they say, "I'm from Commerce City. I'm from Adams County. I'm from North Glen. I'm from Thornton. I'm from Welby. I'm from Berkeley." Any of those, Pearl-Mac, Sherrillwood, Goat Hill. I want them to say it. I want them to say it with pride. And I want them to be able to rattle off all the great things that they are proud of in their neighborhoods. And I think that we're getting to that point. And so when I look, like we have a lot of work to do, but it's about people, it's about places, and we have to deliver that through good policy and programs and projects.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. So now we're going to get into some fun questions. Are you ready
Sounds
for that?
good.
All right. Okay. So, first one, if your life had a theme song, what would it be and why?
Oh, always look on the brighter side of life.
One?
Yes, Monty Python. I try to
That's a
stay
good-
positive. It's the world can be challenging, but always look on the brighter side of life.
What is the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Well, my mom used to say, "Count your blessings." And so there are times in life where you may, want to feel sorry for yourself. You want to be mad, or you want to, and that happens to all of us.
It
But
does.
but it's also made me realize that it's kind of become the new driver of my mission. Is just, while some people spend their whole lives trying to get what they deserve, and I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to deserve all I've been given. And it's because of being able to look and count your blessings and all the things that God and this community and family have given me. Those are the things I'd like to see others be able to enjoy.
I like that. That's really good. Okay. So, anything on your bucket list that you haven't done yet that you're planning to?
I mean, you could always the far off stuff. I'd love to go visit places in Eastern Europe and Asia that I haven't been. I'd love to go to Africa. I've still not been to Australia. So travel is something that I never got to do when I was younger. We didn't have that kind of money, but as I get older, I realize how important it is and how valuable it is. And so there's some places I'd really like to see. As far as the community goes, like some of the stuff
Yeah.
I'd like to see here, I'd like to see us really like finish out some of our curb gutter sidewalk in some of these neighborhoods. That's on the small side. On the big side, I'd really like to see Aerotropolis really become an international place. And I think we're getting there, where we can compete with anybody, any region in the entire world. And those are some of the things I'm very excited about.
Yeah, I think there's so many great things to come with Aerotropolis, and I also love that part of your bucket list is really taking care of the community, which doesn't surprise me at all, having worked with you for the last couple of years. Okay, so what is there a fun fact about you that most people don't know?
I used to love and be able to do art, I guess. I mean, I just don't have time to do it now, but I really loved
Like
drawing.
what kind?
Drawing and little painting, and I just growing up, it was something I really enjoyed. But life got in the way, and I'd like to find a way to get back to that.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. So, anything specific that you would draw more than, like, was it people? Was it
Well,
places?
as a kid, it was like sports figures and
Oh,
animals
that's
and
cool.
fun
Okay.
stuff. I mean, if you go into if you go into my office, you'll see a picture I did of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go see that.
there you go.
All right. If you could have dinner with any historical figure or famous person, who would it be and why?
Hmm. Historical figure or famous person. So if it's historical,
Hmm.
like way back in the day, or maybe not too far, I would want to hear from. I mean, there's quite a few, but if I'm going to just pull one out,
Yeah.
I would say Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Okay.
I'd like to understand what it was like to come into office, take on the challenge of the Depression, and then also have to stand up and how to navigate and get into World War II. And unfortunately, he didn't get to finish World War II, but like the challenges that president had were just daunting, both domestically and internationally. And I look ahead and I see those, like, I just want to make sure, like, I'd love to get some guidance on the decision making and and thought process that went into being able to tackle some of those very difficult situations.
Sure. I mean, to know you being in public service, to know what that was like to serve the country, to be able to navigate through all those things,
Yeah.
all those challenges.
I mean, think about it. We get frustrated on some of these things that are important to us right in front
Yeah.
of our noses. And then you have to take a breath and be like, we're not anywhere close to what the world was like at that point. At least you hope not. And that's part of the challenge, is being able to try to understand how did they see stuff coming? How did they avoid certain things? But then also, how did they respond when some of the worst situations happened?
We're quickly coming to our close of time, but I wanted to ask you one more thing. Is there any story or event that you feel really shaped you in your career? And I know as a prosecutor, you've seen, or former prosecutor, you've seen so much. And I can only imagine some of the stories. It's really hard not to take your work home with you. Is there anything that really shaped or defined who you are today?
Well, rather than going way back, I can say that in 2013, I just made the commitment to run for county commissioner, and I was still working at the DA's office. And the most difficult 3 weeks of my life, where I was right in the middle of a murder trial. In this whole period of 3 weeks, my father died. We had a murder
Oh
trial,
gosh.
and a good friend at our office committed suicide. And it really kind of made you think about all the challenges that are out there, whether it was crime and mental health and addiction and suicide. All of that kind of came crashing down on me, making me really kind of, again, count your blessings, but also say that there are a lot of people who need help. And if we can't address some of these issues on a daily or on a micro level, then they become big problems. And so that was one of the most difficult times I had in my life and career, but also it really brings me back to some of those moments where, okay, like, let's put this situation or this challenge into perspective. But it really propels me in a lot of the things that a lot of people don't know when I try to help with issues of mental health or addiction or criminal justice, public safety. And a lot of it really just comes down to, like, there are a lot of good people who make bad mistakes. And that was the part of being a prosecutor that I really liked, is you can help good people who made bad mistakes get on a good path. And then there was other times where there's some evil out there and you need people to go up and protect others.
Thank you for sharing that. And that also,
Mhm.
I think, shows us some of the motivation, like you were just saying, behind a lot of your decisions and a lot of the things that you fight for. And then also, to expand on that, last night I just said this to someone: good people do bad things, bad people do good things.
Mhm.
It's exactly like you just said. Is there anything else that you want to share with those that are watching and listening, that I didn't ask?
No, I think it's cool that, like, in looking at where we are, Adams County has so much potential, and we've also come so far. And I think what we should do is take pride in our community. And it's little things like making sure, if you get a chance to pick up the trash in your neighborhood, let's do it. If you see somebody who needs help, either try to help that person or make the phone call if you need to. But it's those little things that become bigger. We're at a point in history where we are recognizing we can't rely on big corporations, big government, big nonprofits to take care of us for everything that we need. And so I think what we really need to do is start talking about, how can we help each other? How can we make little differences every day, whether it's little actions, habits, and just to make big impact? And I think we need to get back to that. I think we've become overly dependent on expecting others to come and save us and others. And I think it's time for us to do that. And so that means everything, like I said, little interactions, little smiles, little waves, giving each other the grace that we need, but also having the grit to stand up for what we believe in. And then, of course, back to the gratitude. Grit, grace, and gratitude are the things those are kind of my current themes I'm trying to remind myself every day.
I love that. Grit, grace, and gratitude. I couldn't have ended it on a better note. Thank you to Commissioner Steve O'Dorisio for taking the time to let us get to know him a little bit better. We appreciate that. And thank you for joining us on this episode of All in Adams.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for this episode of All in Adams. Thank you for joining us as we explore the people, programs, and the policies that make Adams County a great place to live, work, and thrive. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe and share with your friends, neighbors, and colleagues. Have a topic you'd like us to cover? Let us know. We're all in for bringing you the stories that matter most. Until next time, take care of each other and stay connected with us on Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, and X. We're all in Adams, and we're all in for you.